Hey guys, so normally I would do a video with audio, with a better camera, I guess, not my vlogging camera, but I wanted to do this video and I wanted to do it fast because things are just insane. So sorry if there's a lot of noise. We're having some construction done in the backyard. And sorry if this is like not the perfectly produced whatever video that I try to make the few that I've done, but this was just too important to me to have to like do all of that setup and do all of that. So I decided instead that I was going to do it this way, just raw, pretty unedited as much as possible. And yeah, just to tell you guys about what's going on. So a couple days ago, I was profiled in a Yahoo Life article about my blog, about my diagnosis, about finding out that I had type 2 diabetes 4 years ago, and then becoming a blogger and an advocate for people with type 2 diabetes and fighting against the shame and stigma that exists when it comes to type 2. Now, if you follow me, I'm pretty outspoken about that. I recently just wrote a blog about how diabetes jokes are not funny. I write a lot about people who fat shame or stigmatize people with diabetes, and myself as someone who is overweight and has type 2 diabetes and meets all of the quote unquote just like obvious metrics, I guess, when it comes to having type 2. I'm outspoken about that because someone who looks like me can have diabetes and it's okay. I can be healthy. I can do the best that I can do and manage diabetes in the best way that I can. I'm currently not living with any complications. I've worn glasses since I was 5, so I've always been kind of blind. That has nothing to do with diabetes. I don't have really truly any other complications. I keep my blood sugar managed with the exception of some highs that I get. The other night I had a really crazy high. It's back into range. It's back to normal. And I know what to do, and that's okay. But I just thought that it was really interesting and really funny. And sad also. I'm not going to say that it's all funny. It's pretty sad, the assumptions that people make about people with type 2 diabetes and what they are capable of and what they actually do. And for me, in that article, based on what I looked like, it was apparently clear to all of the doctors who were commenting on the thread that I'm an obvious case for type 2 diabetes and I must not be doing anything right. And I must be kidding myself and be in denial and not be saying I'm doing what I say I do. The other thing that I think is really interesting about this article is that, of course, it took snippets from my Instagram. So if you see just a few different kinds of pictures on my Instagram, is everything diabetes friendly? Absolutely not, because I'm human and I am okay with that. I'm okay with eating a giant Whataburger. Is it going to spike my blood sugar? Yes, probably. But am I eating them every day? No, I'm not. So it doesn't, like, to me, it's just one of those things that's like, okay, and you'll see why I say Whataburger specifically in a comment that hopefully I captured in my screenshots. But I went through the article. There were about 600 comments at the time when I scrolled through it. Full disclosure, they say you're not supposed to read the comments. If you have fragile mental health and things like this would bother you, don't do it. But I am so used to it and almost numb to comments like this that it was kind of fun and humorous for me to read. I read them with my best friend. We kind of like texted about them and just kind of laughed because if you're close to me and you see me manage diabetes every day, or you follow my Instagram and you follow kind of like my day in the life stories, you realize that I'm actually like not like a model type 2 diabetes patient, but I do what I'm supposed to do. I exercise, I eat right most of the time, and I am very good about taking my medication as it's scheduled, and I'm trying hard. Like, it's not like I am falling by the wayside or saying that type 2 diabetes doesn't matter or that I don't care about complications or that I don't care about my health. I'm not saying any of that. I've never said any of that. I've always been health conscious. Even though I don't look health conscious, I've always been that way. I've always been concerned about my health. I've always been concerned about the way that I feel and just being able to live like a happy, healthy life. And that's what I share with other people. So a lot of these comments are from people who obviously don't know that, who obviously don't know me. I don't know if my phone will be in frame, but I'm reading them from my phone. I took screenshots of a bunch of them. I will put them up right here in this area here so that you can see the comments as I read them. And this is going to be like celebrities read mean tweets, but it's just, I guess, Mila reads mean diabetes comments about herself. I don't know why I'm doing this. Well, actually I do. There's a whole reason why that I'll explain at the end, because somebody's probably going to be thinking like, why would you ever do something like this to yourself? And I have reasons. There are reasons. So we're going to start with Matthew F., who says, is this a real story? Pretty clear what the problem is, which I'm guessing is my obesity. I would guess. Sarah says, type 2 diabetes is rarely diagnosed in anyone under the age of 40 unless that person is morbidly obese. Either she has type 1 and was misdiagnosed as type 2, or she's much larger than she looks in the pictures she chooses to share. My God. Alistair, I have to turn this to read this, says, as a type 1 diabetic, we have little time for type 2 diabetics, which is a lifestyle disease and almost always self-inflicted, but they're in denial. Here's a classic example. She's overweight, fix that, and there's a strong chance this will dramatically improve. Instead, we see the I exercise and eat right. Sorry, hun, eating too much is not eating right. Which I think is really funny because if you have stuck around for my blog for a pretty long time, you know that I have had issues with disordered eating, where I've restricted my food to the point where I was barely eating any calories a day because I felt like there was nothing else I could do. I felt like I wasn't capable of doing anything right. I wasn't capable of eating properly. So I just decided to not eat or eat as little as possible. And it's really funny that someone would say that just because I weigh and measure my food. I look at portion sizes, I read labels, I carb count. I do all of the things that I'm supposed to do when it comes to eating. So that was a fun one from Alistair. Gordo13 says, yep, I remember back when one of my favorite words was buffet. Ellipsis question mark. Fun grammar there. Also not a fan of buffets. I might be fat, but I'm not a fan of buffets. We'll move on to Winkle J. Moose, who says, okay, I think I know why she's type 2 diabetic with poorly controlled diabetes. Look at the food she's eating. High carbs, the bread, desserts, and pulled pork, hidden sugar, which there was no pictures of pulled pork. I don't know where they got that from. And I rarely eat pulled pork. I don't even have a recipe for pulled pork on my website, but anyway. Carbs are sugar to a diabetic. She has not bothered to educate herself on the proper diet for a diabetic. At her young age, going from something like metformin straight to insulin is alarming. She's in for kidney failure, blindness, and foot amputation by 50 if she doesn't get her diet and weight under control. So, loving these. From Marker. From her pic, she's indeed eating well. Bending your elbows at Whataburger is not exercise. I actually laughed at this one because, one, I love Whataburger. It's a Texas fun place to go. So there's that. But two, I was like, how mean do you have to be a person that can say something like that? It was funny though. I have pretty dark humor, so I can find the humor in that. But I will say that bending my elbows to eat a Whataburger with cheese is not the only exercise that I do. Thanks. The Pelasgian, can I read? That's probably going to be comments under this video that I can't read. They say, that is a very big young lady, and she did not look healthy to me. She appears to have a large face and upper body with small arms that don't match her upper body. No matter how much exercise one does and eat well, it's in their hereditary genes to have diabetic. What? Apparently, I'm a tiny-armed T-Rex whose fat face doesn't match her tiny arms. Fun. Debbie says, she is not in shape nor healthy, a bit overweight, and family history. Clueless, to say the least. And so here's the thing. I think that this is a recurring comment in some of these comments, I guess, is that why wouldn't I know that I had type 2 diabetes if it ran in my family, if my mother and my grandmother both had it? Well, one, my mother was diagnosed when I was 10 years old. So growing up with it, it wasn't something that was obvious to me. It was just something that she did, and that's it. My grandmother, I never knew. She died before I ever got to meet her. I only know that she had diabetes when I asked my mom about my family history after I was diagnosed. So it's not always obvious to someone who's in your family. You may hear someone say, I have diabetes, or my uncle has diabetes, or whatever, but chances are you probably, if you're not directly dealing with it, or you're not a caregiver or somebody who is living with it, you probably don't know what that means. You probably just think you probably think what a lot of these comments think, that, oh, that he must have eaten too much sugar and that's why he got diabetes and now he has to take insulin. And you probably don't even inquire from there. So that's the thing. I was diagnosed when I was 26. Like, my mom had been living with diabetes for about 16 years. But by the time that I was like 17, ready to go to college, like, wasn't something that we were talking about. After I was 17, I never lived at home for the rest of my life. So from the time I was 17 until I was 26 when I was diagnosed, I wasn't around my mom all of that time while she was like dealing with diabetes. All that I knew was that she changed her diet and she really stopped eating carbs and she started taking insulin, and that was it. I didn't know the symptoms. She never talked to me about the signs of it. That just wasn't something that we discussed. So I find it really hilarious in a lot of these comments that they're like, oh, you're so clueless. And it's like, well, I freaking know now. Like, I know now and I'm doing something about it. So could I have a little credit from that? Like, perhaps. Smiley Face says, she works hard at eating for sure. And which I do. It's my job to eat. So I do, you know. Let's see. Loco said she was fatigued and surprised she had diabetes. Have you looked in the mirror, fatty? With a PH, which is like the good kind of fat, apparently. So that is a compliment a little bit. Wise M says, I'm surprised she was surprised by her diagnosis. It's even more surprising that she is promoting her high carb food choices. How about cutting the carbs, increasing water consumption, and getting in 10K steps a day? This again assumes that I'm not doing any of those things. This person is just saying, the way that you look, I perceive you to be a lazy fat ass who doesn't do anything for your health. And here's some advice for you. Here's what I can tell you to do. Yet they know nothing. They looked at 4 Instagram pictures in a article that they probably just skimmed through and didn't even read and assumed, and then decided like, okay, yeah, she doesn't do any of those things. Karen is a doctor, y'all. Okay, so this is coming from Karen, who treats people, who says, I see an obese woman of color. I'd be surprised if she weren't a diabetic, but I'm a physician, so I have a lot more insight than lay people. And you know what, Karen? That is a horrible way to think, because if I were your patient or I were somebody who was going to come to you for help, I would feel absolutely uncomfortable that you judged me from the offset, that you didn't listen to me, and that all you're going to do is lecture me. That is not what a doctor does. I am so lucky to have a great doctor who listens to me, who listens to my concerns, who hears me out, who sees times when I'm struggling or times when I'm doing great, who high fives me when my blood sugars are in range and my A1C looks good and my lab tests come back and everything looks great and I look healthy. And that is the kind of person that I have thrived under. I had a doctor who threatened me. I had a doctor who told me like everything, that I was ruining my life, that I had no chance to get diabetes under control by just diet and exercise alone, who didn't believe in me and didn't like take the time to just see what I could do and give me a chance to prove them wrong. And that did not work for me. I worked better with encouragement. And if I went to someone like Karen and that was my doctor, immediately, like, I promise you, it's so sad to say, but I would not want to do better. That is not the person that I would want taking care of me. Alan, or Elaine with an A, says the water was cloaked in a Pepsi Cola jug, which, first of all, I live in Texas, so we drink Dr. Pepper or Coke. I don't even drink Dr. Pepper or Coke. I drink Coke Zero if I ever drink soda, and mostly water, so nah. Madibo says she's lying to herself. She is clearly obese in the picture. She may be eating well, but she ain't eating right, and diabetes is in her family history. Again, like, people using your looks to define what your health looks like is so unfair to you. I have a few more of these. It's like, I think I have like 8 more. You Dope says, okay, she be 300 pounds, which I'm not. I think it's really funny that when people see overweight Black women of color, they automatically think we're all 300 pounds. Like that's some magic number that like, that's just where we get to. That's just who we are. I'm not 300 pounds. I think, you know, just to say that, like, one, I'm not 300 pounds, first of all. And two, like, I don't even know where anyway, okay, we're moving on from that one. Not a dumb blonde. Ooh, this is going to be like a real bitchy one. She said she was working a lot. Picture doesn't fit the story. So working a lot and working out a lot are two different things. The story talks about me working a lot. I was working 50 to 60 hours at my job, did not have time to just like do what I needed and to take care of myself. I wasn't sleeping. I was still exercising, and I had changed my diet at home, and Brian and I had kind of like changed our diet to get healthier because we noticed that we were both just feeling kind of like awful and fatigued. But working and working out are two different things, not a dumb blonde. Anyway, okay. Friday says, working a lot as a food blogger is a sure way to develop diabetes. That's not how you get diabetes. So that's that. Hugh says, a blogger constitutes hard work. Looks like she ate most of her work. Which, yeah, like sorry, my like Libre sensor is going off right now. Being a vlogger is like, oh yeah, I'm going to write a food blog, but I'm never going to eat my food. Get out of here. Are you serious? God. Let Me Talk says, oh my God. Okay, this one, y'all. So I love it when someone starts something with, honey. So this one says, honey, there's no way you're eating right if you get type 2 diabetes. Which, first of all, you manage type 2 diabetes through eating a good diet. So you can still have type 2 diabetes and be eating right. So first of all, for that. It's directly related to diet and will go away with a good diet. Lots of people think they are eating right, but seriously, portion control, drastically lowering sugar, knowing healthy carbs and lean proteins, staying away from restaurants and fast food is the only way. I've lost over 100 pounds, was a size 18W, now an 8 petite. One thing I know about is food and what it does to a body. Great for you, like wonderful on your progress. So glad, but no reason to body shame me because you feel better about yourself doing that. Frankly, my dear, says, this reminds me of my African-American coworker weighing in at 250 who can't understand why her knees hurt when she sits. Oh my God, stands, sits, or walks. Please don't tell me I can't read. I cannot bear the brunt of that. Like if you leave a comment that says you can't read, I swear to God, which now y'all are probably going to do because I'm going to leave that in there. I told you I wasn't really going to edit this. I mean, like, we're moving on from that, but I just wanted you to know that somebody left that comment. John says, haha, I'm sure her diet was loaded with processed carbs. I see bread in those two pictures alone, which people with diabetes can eat bread. Like, anyway, many people target the fat in their diets, but fat is metabolically neutral. It has no direct effect on blood sugar. Sounds like a puff piece story to make overweight people feel like it's okay to be overweight. Now, my reaction to this comment is, one, with carb counting, measuring your food, understanding the makeup of your diet, you can pretty much figure out what's going to work for your body and what you can eat. Some people will say only go plant-based. Some people will say go vegan. Some people will say eat keto and eat all of the meats and none of the carbs. Some people and all of the fat. Some people will say do Atkins and do low carb, but like there are so many ways for people to manage their blood sugar. You have to figure out what works for you. If I eat bread, I eat bread. If I put a piece of bread on my Instagram or I put a piece of bread on my blog, so be it. Like, I am a human being with diabetes and I like bread. So Oprah likes bread too. I'm not saying that she has diabetes, but she said she loves bread. So whatever. Also, it's okay. The other part of this comment was that like it feels like a puff piece story to make overweight people feel like it's okay to be overweight. And it's okay to be in the body that you're in as long as you're doing the best thing for your health. It is not healthy for people to be obese. It's not healthy for people to be overweight. It increases your comorbidities. It increases the just the chances that like you're increasing your risk for other complications, for other things. And so I'm not saying like, yay me, I'm overweight, I'm happy with my life and my body. I'm not saying that at all. Like I'm saying I found a way to manage type 2 diabetes while being comfortable. And there are so many things that I don't like about my body. I don't like my double chin, or I guess my giant head and my small arms. I don't like my belly. I love my legs. That's like one of the things that I do love about my body. But like, I am somebody who has insecurities about my body, and like everybody does, but you can feel okay in the skin that you're in and feel happy and healthy as long as you're taking care. So yeah. Let's see. That was John. Okay, so we're almost done. So Danny says, I'm sorry, but I'm having a hard time believing she was eating healthy and exercising. Why? Like, there are people who are my size, who are bigger than me even, who eat well and exercise. Our body types are our body types. Like, I'm sorry that doesn't please you. I'm sorry that I'm not like this tiny, skinny woman who has like no meat on her bones and just doesn't look like the ideal person that you would think would not have diabetes, which is so like maddening to me. And like, it's just crazy to me because all kinds of body types have diabetes, especially type 2. There are people who are thin who have type 2 diabetes. There are people who are overweight who have type 2 diabetes, who are kind of like the main target for comments like this. And it's just unfair and ridiculous for people to be judged that way. And for somebody to say that they know me better than me. They have been stalking me and looking at my body and watching everything that I eat and watching every single time that I go outside. And they know better than me. They know that I'm not doing enough. Like, blank you. I can't say it because you have to keep YouTube family friendly, but whatever. Pinkstar says, okay, she claims she was confused by her diabetes diagnosis because she eats right and exercises. Pictures don't look like it, just saying. Again, like a picture doesn't mean anything. You don't see like all of the hard work that I put into managing diabetes, or the ups and the downs, or the really hard days where it just freaking sucks. And I do everything that I can to manage. Like, you're just looking at one article, one picture, and that's your determination, is that I don't try hard enough because I don't look how you want me to. All right, and Angela is our last comment, and this is a doozy. So that's why I left it for last. It's so fun. And I had to stop here. I read a lot of comments for you guys, but this is where I was kind of like, okay, this is a point where it's good to stop, where it's good to reflect and just say, you got what you needed, what you came for, looking at these comments, and that's that. You did what you could do. And I think that it was really funny because Brian walked in my office, and it's Saturday, so he was like, what you doing? Like, we were gonna take kind of today off and clean the house and just like get things around the house done and just be excited about staying at home Memorial Day weekend. And he said, what are you doing? And I said, I'm reading mean comments about myself on the internet. And he was like, that's not good for your mental health. And he's so right. Like, doing this is not something that's good for my mental health, but it is cathartic for me. And after I read this comment, I'll kind of explain why, and I'll explain what it meant to me to read these and to share them with you guys. Angela says, this is not a woman who is eating right or exercising as she claims, at least not the way she should have been. She's not huge, but she's obviously overweight, and I'm sure that didn't start after her diagnosis. Now, that doesn't mean she would not have gotten diabetes even if she had been doing those things and was a healthy weight. My grandfather was as thin as a rail and diagnosed with diabetes in his early 70s and probably had it much longer, but please don't lie to people and say you were living a healthy lifestyle when this is obviously not true. So again, somebody who knows nothing about me, who has come to see this article, who has just decided that I am a liar and that I have not done anything for my health and that I literally am just telling a lie about my life and that I'm not being honest and truthful. And what a lot of people don't know, even before my diabetes diagnosis, I lost 30 pounds on my own by dieting probably the wrong way and restricting, and exercising every day. I would go to the gym twice a day. My friends were telling me, you're crazy. Why are you doing this to yourself? Why are you obsessing over food, over exercise? Why are you thinking about this all the time and making this like your everyday thing? And to me, it was a vanity thing at the time. I was like, I want to be hot. Like, I'm trying to date and I want, guys to look at me and think that I'm pretty. And to do that, I have to be skinny and I can't be this like chunky girl. And that's just the thing that I thought. That's what I thought in my head. And when I started doing those things, and then I met my husband at kind of like my lowest weight, when I was like my hottest, my probably healthiest, I still was experiencing those symptoms and thinking, for me, the thinking was like, I'm not getting enough sleep. I'm working a lot. I'm super stressed. I have all of these things going on that I'm trying to juggle and balance, and I can't. And maybe all of that is doing something to my health. All of that is affecting my health. And so that's when I took the step to go to the doctor. That's when I did it. I was like, my husband said, there's probably something wrong with you. Like, if you're waking up in pools of sweat every night and you're not sleeping through the night and you're peeing every 5 minutes and you're drinking like so much water and you just like can't quench your thirst, just go get checked out. And he encouraged me to do that. And I think it's just so funny and maddening at the same time. I said it earlier, it's funny and maddening. It's like this like weird dichotomy of things, that somebody who has no idea about any of that background, about any of the things that I did before I had been diagnosed with diabetes, can sit there and say she has never tried in her life. She didn't try to eat right. She didn't try to exercise. She didn't try to do any of the things that she is claiming that she did, and she's a liar. Because you know what? I worked my ass off. I tried so hard to do these things, and I tried so hard to make it work. And when I wasn't feeling good and I just was thinking I can't do anything else, I don't know what else to do, I don't know where else to turn, then I went to a doctor and said, can you help? And I asked for help. That is the admirable thing. I didn't just ignore the symptoms for longer and then say, they'll just go away, and never go to the doctor and never say anything about them. I took the active step to get my health taken care of. And I think that that is so important to recognize in my story. And like, the mean comments themselves are just proof of why I do this and why I exist. It's because so many people have these judgments and criticisms of people with diabetes. You automatically think we're lazy. You automatically think we don't try. You automatically think we're a failure because we take insulin or oral medication. You automatically think that we're eating badly. You automatically think we can't have some bread because our blood sugar is going to go sky high and we're going to die from it. You automatically think that we're going to lose our eyesight, get amputations, have kidney failure and liver failure. You automatically put that on us. You automatically say that definitively you as a person with type 2 diabetes are a failure. That's what all of these comments told me. They told me I was fat. They told me I was lazy. They told me I didn't try. They told me that I am just a terrible person because I have type 2 diabetes. And the thing about it is that I try so hard every day of my damn life. I have to wear a monitor that monitors my blood sugar every day. I scan my blood sugar. I used to have to do 6 finger sticks a day when I was first diagnosed to understand the patterns of my blood sugar and how food was affecting my glucose. I had to take time to go visit a dietitian so that she could teach me about the different ways of eating and different ways that I can adapt foods that I love into my diet. I go to the doctor every freaking 3 months to get my blood drawn so that they can take a look at my A1C. I inject myself with insulin every single day. I go on walks with my husband. I eat freaking salad. Like, I make salad. I'm sorry if I don't post enough salad recipes. And like, I know I sound angry and I know I sound upset, but it's because I am. Because if I am putting myself out there as someone who is genuinely giving a crap, genuinely doing what I feel like I should be doing and trying my hardest every single day, it doesn't matter what I look like. It really does not. Like, as long as my health is in check, which it is, and which, side note, I don't owe to anybody. I don't owe you my lab results. I don't owe you my A1C. I don't owe you anything. I know what I'm doing. My doctor knows what I'm doing, and I'm on a good path. And I just resent the fact so much that people just look at a Black woman who's overweight and automatically assumes that like I messed up and that I have failed, and because I have type 2 diabetes I did everything wrong, and that there's no way at this point, there is no way that I could be managing it in a good way or a positive way. So that's why I sound mad, and that's why I am mad. And those, I said at first when I was texting with my friend, I was like, these comments don't make me mad, they make me laugh because it shows that I'm needed, but it does in a way frustrate me and make me mad because I think to myself that I'm willing to keep putting myself out there and keep advocating for people with type 2 diabetes despite these comments. Like, these comments are like the fuel to my fire. Like, literally my fire is burning and then I see these comments and it just like swells in a ball of flames, and I'm like, oh yeah, like there's like this TikTok like, oh, she's in X Games mode. Like, I am in X Games mode as soon as I get comments like this. And to me, I just think if I can endure despite these comments and I can keep doing this despite that, I'm just doing the best that I can, and I'm okay with that. But then I think of all of the other people who are trying their best and want to live a healthy life and want to have the support from their friends and their family, but are afraid. They're afraid of comments like that. And those comments are overt. They're in my face. They are right there for the whole internet to see for the rest of my life. Like, I will never get away from those comments unless I drop like 100 pounds tomorrow and then I weigh 100 pounds and I am skin and bones and my diabetes is cured. Like, nobody's ever going to be happy with me. They're always going to leave comments like that and always going to assume that I'm doing the worst. But I think of people who want the support and the encouragement from their families or from their physician team, or like just anybody who can just sympathize for them about their journey with diabetes, and then being afraid to ever tell anyone that they have type 2 diabetes because they're afraid of that. And that's what makes me mad, because so many people just decide that they are too ashamed and too afraid to ever say anything about diabetes to their friends and their families. And that's really sad, because those are the people that can help you the most. So yeah, I felt like I had to make this video because I go through ebbs and flows with comments like these. Sometimes they pop up on my blog. Sometimes it's like a Twitter like firestorm when I post something about diabetes and type 2 specifically, and the finger pointing and the blaming, happens everywhere. But then sometimes it's on Instagram where somebody is just like, you're clearly not doing anything. And, to me, it's just like, all of these things are a snippet of my everyday. None of these things follow me with a camera 24/7 showing you what I do. And I don't want that, because that's, one, not realistic. Two, I don't owe anybody that. And three, I just think that is dumb. Like, it's okay for me to post like really fun, enticing things on Instagram, because it's my once in a while. Like, I'm cooking and I'm baking and that's that. Like, I don't know what else to tell anybody. But to me, this again just fuels the passion that I have for people with type 2 diabetes and just the visibility. Like, I want to show people that it's okay to show that you're living a good life with type 2 diabetes, and you're always going to be at risk for the judgment and the comments, because people just don't understand, and they don't want to understand, and they don't care. Like, diabetes has for so long had this stigma. You even saw it with the comment from the person who had type 1 diabetes and said, we don't have time for people with type 2 diabetes because they did it to themselves. Like basically fix it, because you're not good enough to even be labeled with diabetes. But to me, it's just like, that's my purpose. That's my goal. That's what I'm doing. And those comments show that what I'm doing is needed. And I am happy to show that, I guess. Not happy to get those comments and to receive that hateful feeling, but it's to me just kind of like, it's the collateral damage, I guess, of the part of my soul that actually cares, which is a very small piece of it. And I don't know, just not a warning, but a challenge to others to just rethink how you judge people, because you don't ever know. You don't ever know the full story, and you can assume that you know everything, but unless you live in that person's head or in that person's body or are with them 24/7, you just don't. And so the judgment is unnecessary and doesn't need to be there. So that's it. That's the video. I thought it, like I said, would be kind of fun for you guys to get an insight to what I deal with on the internet on a daily basis. I don't know why people hate me so much for having diabetes, but I guess that's that. And I guess that my next goal is to just, drop a cool 100 pounds and, then I'll cure my diabetes and I'll be the poster child that everybody holds up on a pedestal. So not going to do that. I don't know why. Sorry, I'm over here clicking. I'm like multitasking because I'm forgetting that I'm talking to you, but that's it. That's my story. That's what I'm sticking to. That's what I'm talking about today. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe. If anybody's ever said something mean to you about having diabetes, I would love to hear it. I don't want you to have to relive that trauma if you don't want to, but I think that it's nice to not feel so alone in stuff like this. And that's it. That's all for this video. So yeah, like and subscribe if you liked it. Leave a comment down below. I'm probably going to get some mean comments, I'm sure. I always do. But such is life, right? So thanks for watching, guys. Take care.